Greetings and welcome to devlog number 14 of our adventure and dark fantasy game. Oof, a lot has happened since our last video. Several new planned mechanics, several unforeseen ones, the self-destruction of Unity, and to some extent the redemption of Unity, and many more changes in the near future. All of this coming up next. First of all, and as usual, an apology for the delay in this video. Among everything that happened, we also found some bumps in the road. Partially due to the burnout that hit us hard for a few days, partly because of an annoying throat infection that afflicted us for almost 2 weeks, partly also because of the arrival of my new Steam Deck, and not least because of the full release of Baldur's Gate 3, in which I've already invested more than 150 hours. But finally, when the distractions were over and regaining strength, we got to work. First, we will present these improvements. Later, we will also take the opportunity to talk about our new scopes and changes on our workflow. And finally, we will take the opportunity to contribute our grain of sand to the roller coaster that has been the Unity engine in this past week, and our position in this regard. Okay, so to begin with, we introduce swimming or flotation states for living and dead NPCs, as well as flotation for various objects and tools that could be lost in the water by accident. For this reason, we also added the option to be able to pick up objects on the water, and now we also are able to throw them while swimming, either with one or both hands. Also in the water, we added a drag logic based on the depth in which the player is submerged, and this works whether we're crouching, targeting, or in any state, which will be very useful once we introduce the level of the swamp. Also new, we have throwable chickens with gliding capability, either while thrown by themselves or when we jump while holding them, which I think is pretty cool. With so many mechanics and progression depending on our items, tools and throwables, we had to work on a system that would protect us from losing those resources. With this in mind, we created an obstacle and terrain detection system based on raycasts that shoot when throwing or dropping items. If we try to throw an object inside an obstacle, now this raycast detects it, cancels the process, and the animation gets replaced. And if we drop an item, it now gets placed at the level of the surface in front of us. Or if we do not detect the surface, as it will be in a ravine, or if we detect an obstacle first, we simply leave the object directly in our position. At long last, we also added our second character, which is that of Hannah's sister, and we've already integrated it to our first mission, dialogues, and scene in general. We still need to fix a couple of things with the model, but in general, it meets all of our expectations. Finally, we worked on the last main system of our game, which is that one of the cinematics, which is mostly a fairly simple system, but managing to integrate it correctly with our dialogue system, tasks, missions, animations, and navigation require a lot of experimentation and adjustments all around. But now, with this solved, we now have the means to set our scenes in any way we need. The timelines, animations, and dialogues go hand in hand, so we can make sure to keep the rhythm and framing correctly. And in addition, as the system ended up being quite flexible, we can trigger any events or public methods with ease, or add multiple actors if required. With all the systems in place, we have already begun to prepare the project for presentation, starting with the main menu, that although has not yet reached its final state, is way more appealing than before. And well, this will be our priority for now. Prepare the missions, atmosphere, and mechanics to launch the first version of the demo, and even when there are quite a bit rough areas to polish, if everything goes well, the next video of our channel will be dedicated to invite you all to finally play our game. Soon, with the release of the demo, we also want to set the Discord server to facilitate communication and feedback, And urgently, we have to think of the name of the game if we want to make it public. I have thought on a few good names, but any suggestions or recommendations on this or any topic would be awesome and appreciated. After all, this is still unexplored territory for us, and of course, if you want to like the video or subscribe to the channel, that would also support us enormously. Finally, to conclude today's video, I would like to share our opinion on what happened with the terms and charges that Unity has presented recently. To the day of the creation of this video, which is Wednesday, September the 27th, it seems that the work has already happened and the dust begins to settle. First, Unity presented the most ridiculous, obscene and malicious proposal that they could think of, generating a nuclear reaction like I have never seen in the developer community. And, after much outrage, finally on September the 22nd, Unity apologized and presented a counter-proposal, surprisingly convenient at least for small studios. I will not go into the details of these terms and charges, as to not overextend the video. I think there will be already enough sources scrutinizing this information, so I will assume that we are aware of the previous and these last new terms. And well, I think we were all expecting an increase in Unity charges for some time. You know, all those advances in half functional and generally unnecessary tools are not going to pay for themselves. And even if one does not agree with the priorities or direction of the platform, in general, Unity is still the most accessible engine and with more educational resources on the market. And despite the many headaches with major bugs abandoned for years, we're really grateful to Unity. And to put it simple, we wouldn't be able to get here if it were not for the platform and probably, and more important, the community. Really, since we committed to game development, we always saw Unity as the best first step that someone as an inexperienced developer could take, but never as a final destination. Eventually, after some projects, and with enough experience to support us, we would like to transition ourselves to more complex and open tools like a Dot. After all, creative freedom through professional growth is the fuel that has moved us so far. But for this, first, we must rise to each challenge. And it is with this intention that at least for a couple more years will place us at the mercy of Henry Cotello, or however his name is pronounced. I don't think any engine, either Godot, Unity or Unreal, can give you complete certainty and peace of mind in the long run, and I'm pretty sure Unity is the most uncertain and dubious of them all. But for better or worse, I think that uncertainty comes with the package of being a game developer, and like everything so far, I wouldn't have started this project if I did not believe I could deal with any setbacks we find down the line. So, for love to game developing, we'll continue to be motivated and work painstakingly on the project. I plan to at least complete 1 or 2 more games after this one, before considering switching platforms. And in the meantime, we'll continue maintaining a constructive and project-focused approach. And hopefully, Unity, at least for a couple more years, has learned its lesson. Although a change of CEO wouldn't do any harm, in my opinion. Thank you very much for having accompanied us until the end of the video. As always, the advances had taken a lot more time than we expected, but I'm excited to see how the game is slowly becoming everything we ever wanted, and more. If you're interested in the project, you can also follow us on Twitter or Twitch, where we present advances and share opinions. Links in the description of the video. But for now, this will be all for our part. It only remains to wish you as always a lot of success in your projects, and see you soon.